Ladies and gents, welcome to CG Reaction, and this is Are Humans OP by the channel TierZoo. TierZoo is a great channel. I reacted to 2 videos from it already about the humans and the lizard. It's just great. This about again Are Humans OP. To answer to that is yeah, pretty much. But not to worry, there will be lots of jump patches along the way that will nerf us, I guess. I mean, that's not just a stupid joke. That's fucking reality of the future. You know, WHO and lots of organizations around the world is saying that what happened last year and what is already going on is going to be common now. Yeah, it's since 100 years since something like this has happened. Last time it was Spanish flu. That was at this scale. But they are saying that it's gonna be quite frequent, like a decade or once every decade or two. So that's pretty damn frequent. And if that happens, I'll be pissed. I'll physically go to China or anywhere where their wet markets are, and I'll fucking destroy them if that's the case. This is bullshit. Last year was so horrible. Alright, so let's watch this one. And remember, people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction I did. There's a link in the description. And yeah, let's watch this one.
This episode was sponsored by Skillshare.
Knockout.
Human beings. Are they as overpowered as the game's community would lead you to believe?
Yep.
Short answer, yeah. They're the most meta-defining build of all time.
No, it's not just short answer. Long answer is also all around yeah.
And the undisputed top build in the current expansion. But believe it or not, this wasn't always the case. Humans used to get bodied left and right on a daily basis by other players. And it took a pretty long time before the player base learned how to actually make use of the human build's unique abilities. The story of the humans' rise to dominance is a really interesting one. And so today, we're going to do an in-depth look at the humans' abilities, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Because yes, they do have weaknesses. We'll also go over notable matchups, and finally look at the steps human players took in order to reach their dominant status.
Just watching that particular clip, that hurt. Oh, man.
We'll also go over notable matchups, and finally look at the steps human players took in order to reach their dominant status. First, their unique abilities. I touched on this topic in my video about primates, but I'll recap here and also go into more detail. First off the bat, we have their ability to throw things. Other builds can throw things, but humans can do so harder, faster, and further than anyone else.
Oh, really?
The reason
I would think, apes, gorillas, I've seen them, ferociously throw things. I always thought that since they are more wild than humans, they could throw a longer distance. But yeah, I guess you could see the, people in NFL, in Olympics, if you compare them to these animals, yeah, I guess humans can throw at higher distances. Yeah, one would think, yeah, but people from NFL and Olympics are not average people. Yeah, but they are trained, and I would say monkeys trains themselves in everything since it's about survival. So in that sense, yeah, if humans were at that point, it's all about survival, they would be able to throw at hard distances. They used to when they hunted, for the food.
for this is their body structure. Bipedal builds are tough to balance, both in the game development sense and the center of mass sense. Throwing an item with any real force behind it requires serious balance, achieved only by having shorter arms and longer legs.
Wait a second, let me watch this. Okay, how is he throwing like that? I can't even move my hand back like that. The level of mobility this guy has, damn, look at that. And with the muscles.
Any real force behind it requires serious balance, achieved only by having shorter arms and longer legs. This is why humans can launch projectiles at deadly speeds, whereas other primates kinda just lob things without putting much effort into it. If they tried to, they would knock themselves over. Even if chimpanzees could figure out how to craft a spear, there's no way they could throw it hard enough to deal any significant damage.
Damn, really? I was always with some kind of fear about, chimpanzees or any monkeys in general. Whenever I see them, like, if they get pissed, they could throw heavy stones at you at high speed. I was always at the fear. Apparently they can't, huh?
Next, their stamina regeneration. Humans can chase down anything. If you try to run from a human, you might outspeed them initially, but you'll run out of stamina much sooner than they will, and they'll catch up to you while you're in your weakened state.
Yeah, this
is partially because of their superior balance again, but mostly it's because of the human build's unique choice to not spec into fur. This gives them access to the extremely broken ability Sweat. Every other current build that's decent at distance running recharges stamina by using the move Pant. This works great, but it does require the user to stop running. Sweat, on the other hand, works better while moving, massively extending the distance a human player can run. They've got a few other important abilities that are essential to their kit, but aren't unique to
Oh god, they are marathon runners. How long distances do they run? That is just ridiculous. Just seeing that, makes me want to go to bed and go to sleep. Like, god damn, I can't do that. Just seeing them hurts my stomach.
humans. Their ability to speak is unique among mammals, but some birds can pull it off too. In humans, the ability to speak allows them to use one of their signature moves, Teach, which drastically boosts skill point gain, mitigating the main penalty a player receives upon getting a game over. Humans and birds also share another unique trait, which is being able to stand upright. Standing upright is extremely useful for dealing with stealth builds that might normally be using tall grass to hide. Tool use also might be thought of as a human-exclusive move, and it certainly is the most effective in humans, but it turns out a pretty wide array of other builds can also do it. Birds, primates, cephalopods, and even fish can use tools on occasion. But sweating and throwing, uniquely human. Now onto their weaknesses. And yes, it's true that currently most human players can subvert these with their crafting skill. But it's important to recognize that without equipment, the human build isn't necessarily unstoppable. The decision to not have fur granted humans a massive buff to mobility at the cost of stealth. In the mammal faction, fur is a prerequisite to all the major stealth abilities like camouflage.
I mean, yeah, humans don't have fur, so stealth is pretty much impossible. But if we don't have equipment, does not make us, vulnerable or weak, because our ingenuity, our intelligence will eventually, give us some environment which we can make it into a tool. I mean, which is the show in that channel, the guy who goes on the ridiculous survival areas. Nowadays he does that with celebrities or something. I forgot his name, man. Yeah, whatever. He does that. He goes there with minimum equipment and I don't know, eat some, some poo of some animal because it has some kind of hydrating property, something like that. Makes the things to survive. So humans can't do that even they don't have tools.
And lack of stealth abilities means getting in close on their targets is a serious challenge. The human build's lack of fur also means they have very low defense, both from physical attacks and from environmental effects. Bare skin offers almost zero armor, to the point where even players from lower weight classes have no trouble dealing damage to humans. And bare skin also takes quite a bit of damage from the sun too. Humans are also pretty limited when it comes to the power stat. Physically, they're the weakest of the great apes, and don't really have any good options for dealing damage. They lack the classic high damage bite attack that nearly every other non-herbivorous build relies on, instead having to resort to blunt attacks like punch and kick, which we all know aren't very effective against builds that have thick fur or skin. The last major weakness I can see is that they're pretty bad at dealing with stealth. The lack of night vision means darkness can really hamper their ability to locate targets, and their lack of a strong sense of smell means camouflage is especially useful against them. Okay, now let's talk about matchups. Obviously a key feature of the human build is being able to craft equipment. Given basic equipment like low-level armor and hunting gear, the human's best matchup is going to be medium-large mammals. Unlike blunt damage, piercing damage is quite effective versus builds with thick hide. But on defense, they're actually pretty awful. A human's only option on defense against a large mammal is intimidation, unless they've got some crazy high-level equipment. But I'll make a video on power creep.
Yeah, okay, intimidation. How the hell are they going to intimidate a gigantic elephant mammoth? They'll be like, what, are you serious, bro? You're not scaring me. Get crossed and put the foot down.
Later. The classic human equipment cannot stop a charging tank main unless the intimidate attempt works. But overall, this matchup is one of the reasons humans became top tier. Hardly any builds have favorable matchups against tanks. But that's not to say humans don't have their counters though. As I said before, stealth can be really effective against them due to their lack of a keen sense of smell and night vision. Humans have the ability to win pretty much any fight as long as they've got time to prepare. But taken by surprise, humans have a lot fewer options. Another thing humans have trouble dealing with is flight.
Proper predator cats like tigers, cheetahs, leopards, things like this. They might not have staminas and things like that. I don't know if they have staminas, but the way, the video is saying that they don't sweat, so obviously they can't have stamina, they will get tired out. But the thing about these predators are they wait for the perfect condition. They know their abilities, so they wait for the perfect condition where they know they're going to run out of stamina at certain points, but they're going to make sure before that happens, you are taken down regardless of what. So, predators like this, like tiger and things like that, we are screwed, man. Even people who goes into some kind of a forest with guns and without any help, they just walk around with gun trying to hunt some tiger, cheetah, or anything. They would be able to successfully do it, even defend themselves, but lots of time they won't be able to. Before they could react, these cats will pounce. So those predators are just fucking terrifying. Anybody sees a tiger, I mean, they would froze in their place. I mean, people don't understand it now. If you see a tiger live, just features of it, just the size, length, the way its furs are, the way its eyes are, you are beyond terrified.
Right. Even when a human has a ranged weapon, players with high aerial mobility are pretty safe during flight. Now, as far as I know, there aren't any bird builds powerful enough to one-shot humans, which is important because blunt attacks like punches are actually quite effective against birds.
What about those massive eagles? What's their name? They go about more than 200 miles per hour or something. There are eagles like that. I forgot the name, but those are gigantic eagles. Can they really hurt with one shot humans if their claws really get you? I don't know.
Birds have hollow bones that are resistant to tension and torsion, but not compression. This is the opposite of mammal bones, which are
Ooh, really? I didn't know that. That is incredible, look at that.
resistant to compression and tension, but not torsion. The point is, birds aren't the best choice against humans, but flight has been unlocked by 4 different classes in the game. Birds, which we just discussed, aren't a good choice. Bats, which do even less damage than birds. Reptiles, which unfortunately
Really? Bats do less damage than birds, really?
had their aerial builds banned in patch 1.3.1. And insects. Flying eusocial insects have by far the best matchup versus humans in the entire game. Humans have 0 counterplay against a swarm of stinging insects. I mean, sure, there are special items that they can use to combat swarms if they're prepared, but the amount of human mains who've chosen that as one of their prestige abilities is pretty small. Humans' lack of fur means they have no innate defense against stings. Stings also have the chance to proc the anaphylaxis debuff, which can actually lead to a game over. And it's for this reason that the high score for human eliminations belongs to the Africanized honeybee, known better by its community-given name, the killer bee. And even if the stings don't proc the allergic reaction effect, they will still definitely achieve their primary goal of dropping their resolve to 0 and granting you control over the territory. And we can see that lately the
Look, I'm not gonna lie, in here I don't see many dangerous insects ever. But here in Americas and obviously in Africas, there are dangerous insects about everything. Bees, damn spiders, black widow spiders. I don't know if there are black widow spiders in India or not, but I've never seen one. I've never spoken to anybody who's seen one, so I don't know, it might not be common here. But there are, gigantic insects even in Americas and Africas, and I don't see something like that in India. So that is really creepy, man. Damn. I mean, that is true, man. Most things I can think of can kill humans. So even though we might be OP, like some scientists once said, people said that, humans were only made for Earth and not other planets. I mean, we are not made for this Earth anyway. Anything can kill us, even small things. Germs, small insects, predators, lots of things easily kills us, man.
viability of killer bees has only been growing now that they've expanded their territory outside of Africa. Which brings me to my main point. Are humans overpowered? Well, just like the Africanized honeybee, humans really only became OP once they escaped the African server and invaded other areas. Notice how humans took down megafauna across every terrestrial server except Africa. The African
Don't just gloss over it like this,
they
man.
only became OP
Wait a second.
once they escaped the African server and invaded other areas. Notice how
Oh, that's the woolly rhino or something that we saw in the other video.
humans
Okay.
took down megafauna
Oh, that's woolly mammoth or something. These things were huge compared to the today's ones.
across every terrestrial
That's a lion. What the hell is this then? Is it supposed to be more dangerous than lion? Huh.
server except Africa.
I think I've seen this in some games, I guess. I don't know.
The African tank mains have the matchup experience and counterplay options to deal with the vast array of skills humans have access to. But the rest of the community was totally unprepared to deal with the rapid invasion of new human mains invading their competitive scene. In other words, the devs could have prevented the massive destabilization of the current meta if they'd region-locked humans. Staying competitive in the meta requires a good player constantly be leveling up their skills. There's no better example of this than the rapid rise to dominance that humans experienced. If you'd like to level up your own skills and unlock new ones, I highly recommend Skillshare.
Yeah, people, go to skillshare.com/TierZoo3 and support that channel. This channel is really great. All the great topics he's explaining like it's a game, and what more could people want? All the YouTube's creator rise that happened, they were all once a gamer and they decided to change. Every big channel and things that you see about animation videos and everything, they were once a gaming channel in some form and they decided to become that. So gaming is a big thing in entire YouTube and people love this. So this is definitely great. I mean, those are some ridiculous animals that went extinct. What was that lion comparing thing? Does anybody know? Is that some bigger? I mean, obviously lion is not the biggest and strongest. Obviously that's a tiger. Tigers, I guess, 3 times or something more stronger than lion. But lion is king because obviously the psychological thing, the fur, the face, tiger gets scared off. But once the fight actually happens, tiger can just give one claws and lion is fucked. Damn, this is a good channel. I'm gonna react to more of these videos about different things like cats, and I think the next video tomorrow I'm gonna do is about cats. I guess they're gonna talk about tigers, lions, and things like that. I love this one. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction, there's a link in the description. Check out the cards for all the playlists, check out the end card, and yeah, I'll see you next time.